It took about 7 years, a year down in hospital and then 7 years after of strict physiotherapy to get back some upper body movement to gain some independence back. For a C5 quad, I'm a blessed man compared to a lot that, don't have near as much movement as I have, so, very grateful for that.
Yeah, I can tell you have some upper body mobility, and I see that you can use your hands and arms somewhat, and
Yeah,
that's awesome.
we're very blessed, really blessed. It just our movement itself is the golden ticket because you can get things to your mouth, and if you can feed yourself,
Right.
that's one source of independence, and those motions there, even though you haven't got any grip, they open up a whole world of
Absolutely.
things you can do for yourself, so you're grateful for all the small things that are huge things for me now.
Well, I'm sure that you have friends and family that while they understand what you've gone through to a certain degree, I mean, for those of us that are not disabled and don't have the struggle, we just take things for granted, right? Just me moving my hand through the air, and we just take so much for granted, and we don't realize. I'm talking about us. We don't realize the complexities of everyday life that you face that we don't, you know, and we just kind of take life for granted.
Yeah, I remember as someone obviously able-bodied, I remember just before my accident, school was ending, and they always have these programs before summer, at least we did in Ontario when I was living there. They would come in and they'd have a couple disabled people, they would come and give a talk before summer came about making proper choices, all those type of things, and talk about car accidents and things, and they gave a statistic, like, I forget back then, it was like 1 in 30, and I remember sitting in that assembly, as, someone that was getting ready that had graduated, counting heads that were ahead of me. I mean, like 1, 2, 3, there's 30. Oh, it could be him. Like, just thinking, what does 1 in 30 look like? Little did I realize that, a couple days later, the 1 in 30 statistic would fall on this guy here. Um, I would say that I was blessed with a sense of humor, um, that really helped me deal with a lot. I mean, crying has its place, and it is certainly a God-given emotion for release, which I took advantage of a lot of times when no one was around and when people were around. Humor, is a gift from God that when things are difficult and you can learn to laugh with others and with at yourself in situations sometimes. I found that was very helpful. There's so much the importance of having people around, especially in those early days, because people help you keep your mind from wandering too far down tomorrow. And when you're thinking too far about tomorrow, you're paying interest on something that you don't know if you bought yet. And so focusing on, the day at hand and the conversation at hand and encouragement from friends and family, if anyone's in that situation. I know it's difficult to go see someone that's going through a difficult time, but more often than not, even though they'll say they'll want to be alone, they really need a phone call or someone just to be close to them
Right.
when it time and place.
As you're talking, I was remembering a friend of mine. Well, actually, he wasn't a friend. He was a football player. He was one of those jocks. He was real popular, real good at football, and he didn't necessarily pick on me that much, but he wasn't nice to me, and he wound up in a bad car accident. I think he went head on into a tree or something, and he was out drinking, and he was driving and should not have been driving. Anyway, it screwed him up pretty bad, and he wound up in a wheelchair. And uh, I don't remember how badly he was hurt. I just know that he couldn't walk and he was in a wheelchair, and I went to see him, because I cared about despite the fact that he wasn't necessarily good to me or nice to me, I wanted to go see him and let him know that he wasn't alone, and that I wanted to be his friend and help him in whatever way that I could. And we didn't become fast buddies or anything, but I could tell that he appreciated that. You know, I think the fact that he hadn't been nice to me, uh, during high school years or whatever.